I am 39 years old. My oldest son will be 21 in 2 months. So the other day I was thinking, my son will forever be less than half my age. When I thought about it like that, I thought it was strange. When I'm 40, he'll be 21. When he's 40, I won't even be 60 yet. And then I thought, that's not so bad. Think about how long I get to be a grandma. How much fun I will have being a grandmother. I won't be 80 years old, the first time I have a grandson. So there are advantages to being teen moms. But I started researching online because I wanted to talk about people who are teen moms. But I want to ask you guys, so I want everyone to think about, and maybe a few people tell me one, I say famous, but it doesn't have to be a celebrity, or one person that you know as a teen mom, is a teen mom. Who? Me. You. Okay, but if you had to think of someone famous, who would you say?
Maya Angelou.
Maya Angelou, you're cheating. Who else?
Break the ice.
Yeah, Jamie Lynn Spears. I started going online, and every time I would put in famous teen moms, I would get Amber Portwood, Casey Anthony, Leah, whatever her name is, Farrah, the other one from Teen Mom, Bristol Palin, Jamie Lynn Spears, Casey Anthony, all these people, and I literally could not, it took me hours to find teen moms that were not infamous, because by today's standards, the ones we learn about are these women who, are on TV, are getting busted for smoking pot, are getting busted for beating their baby's father, or getting kicked out of the house. And these are the teen moms that we're seeing in the media. So it took me a while, and I kept on investigating, and I came up with ones that I thought were successful teen moms, that we knew them for something other than being infamous. And I got Loretta Lynn. A lot of you younger people will know, who's a very famous country singer. Winona Judd, who is a very famous country singer as well. Maya Angelou, Oprah Winfrey, had a baby who died when she was 14 years old, but she was, the child passed away, unfortunately. Solange Knowles, Nikki Taylor, Sofia Vergara, Shirley Temple, who we all know is a child actress who went on to become a very, very famous ambassador to the United Nations. So there are people who have been successful. Then I thought, what famous people do we know whose parents were a teen mom? Who do we know that their mother was a teen mom? And that was even harder to find. But I did find a few people that I thought, was a little indicative that just because you're 16 or 18 when you have your child does not mean that that child cannot grow up to be someone amazing, or does not have the same advantages as any other child in this world. And I came up with LeBron James, Jack Nicholson, Bob Marley, the super famous Justin Bieber, who I love, who he's on doing charity all over TV all the time.
Barack Obama.
And then I found a website and said Jesus. And I thought, wow, I never thought of that, True. Mary was apparently 15 years old when she had Jesus, and we all know he was pretty successful, so. I thought that was neat. But I find myself sometimes asking, and I did this often when I was young, how did I get here? What happened? As I saw my friends, getting their college degrees and going to frat parties, and I was at home with not one, but 2 kids, because out of all the statistics, I was the double whammy. I got pregnant at 18, and before I was 20, I had 2 kids. I remember going out to on my 20th birthday and not being able to have a glass of wine, and knowing at home I had 2 kids. And that didn't correlate in my mind, that I could have so much responsibility and so much on my shoulders, and I couldn't have, an adult beverage, because I wasn't an adult. So I was surprised to see that 24% of all teen pregnancies have more than one child before they're out of their teens. So that, was a little shocking to me, and I didn't think about how, if it already happened to me once, I don't know what was happening in my brain that didn't think that it could happen to me again, but it did. So I had 2 kids before I was 20. And I remember when I was 18 and pregnant, I wasn't prepared for what was happening to my body. I, wasn't comfortable with the way, I was barely comfortable with my body at 18, to then be pregnant and then be big and expanding, and, I gained 60 pounds, which is a lot. And I remember I went to, every time I would go to the doctor's office, I was afraid of going, because every time I would go, he would kind of, not yell at me, but say, you're gaining too much weight, that baby's only 5 pounds. All that is not baby. So I didn't want to go, and I was very intimidated. And the last day I went to the gynecologist's office, he had me step up on the scale. It was a horrible ritual, because every time, the thing would go further and further, they'd push it further to the right, it means you're getting fatter and fatter. And I didn't fit on the scale. My feet could not, my stomach did not fit to where the scale was. So basically, my feet couldn't fit on the scale without my stomach hitting the scale and going like this. So he said, turn to the side. So I had to sway myself like this. So I went into for an emergency C-section, and the anesthesiologist came in, and my husband, I was pregnant, I got married to my husband. He came in, and the anesthesiologist said, how much do you weigh? And I had a blank stare on my face. And he said, you're going into emergency surgery. I need to know how much you weigh. And my husband was standing there. And I was so embarrassed, I said, come here, I'll whisper it. Either he leaves the room or I whisper it in your ear, because I'm not telling my boyfriend, my husband, that I weigh 200 pounds. So in many aspects, I was about to become a mother and this woman, and I was still such a child on so many levels. I was too embarrassed, to tell the person I was about to have a baby with that I was 200 pounds. But I was ready to have a baby, and the baby came, and there he was. I wanted to ask you guys a few questions about your experiences, so I can get a better feel of who you are. Let me look at them. I have to find them out. I'm sorry, I got a little lost here. I'll move the questions to last. So I want to say, I wrote down, if you ask yourselves how you got here, what are you doing here, what was the exact moment that I made perhaps what you now consider a bad decision or a mistake that led you to have this child? I said, don't think about that. It's irrelevant, it doesn't matter. You are here, your baby's here, or it's going to be here any day now, and it doesn't matter what you did to make that what you consider a mistake. It's part of your life, and you need to move forward. And it's hard, and I can remember, being at home with 2 kids, working full-time. My husband worked 2 jobs, and going to the supermarket and buying, what I could afford, and crying on the way home. Crying in the car. What am I doing? I had a car with no AC. The windows either stayed up or stayed down. There was no in-between. It was forever, throwing smoke out, and I had friends out there, and I knew that we're living what I thought was supposed to be my life. But it wasn't. This is my life. This is where I am. This is what you need to do. And I wanted to tell you guys that you should know that it's not always that crazy, and it's not always that difficult. And if you ask me to pinpoint the specific point in time where I felt, I can breathe, I'm not drowning, I can keep my head above water, I have a little money that I can give myself a manicure this month, or I have enough money that I can give my child this for Christmas that I really want to give him, or I'm okay where I live and the school my kids in. I can't tell you that specific moment in time. I don't remember. But when I had to think about how crazy it was when I was very young and had the 2 kids, I had to really sit down and think about it. Because it seems like it was so long ago and it was a different life. Almost like a different person. And that struggle and the pain and the feeling that this is never going to end and I can't do this any longer. And it's just very overwhelming. So I'm here to tell you I've been there. I survived it. You will survive it. You will become the woman you want to be. You will be the mother you want to be. And your children will know you as that woman. You won't be, in their eyes, you will be that person. And that's what's important. Know that as crazy and hard as it is now, take advantage of your children being little. Don't worry that you have to work, or don't worry that you have to keep your kid in daycare 10 hours. Because you do what you have to do, and that child is going to know that you did what you had to do to survive and to provide for them. And they will know that you did your best. And as long as you can go home and say that, then they know that you've done right by them. And whatever your choices are, know that you're okay. Moms make mistakes. They're human. And you're a mom, and it doesn't matter if you're 16 or 36. Moms make mistakes. 40-year-old moms make mistakes every day of their lives. And they screw up, and they have their kids, everyone's child yells at them, I hate you, you're the worst mom ever. Doesn't matter how old you are. So everyone is struggling, all moms struggle. And I want you to know that there's a lot of women out there who have been in your position and have thrived, not just survived. So I want you guys to know that I'm here. I have my personal cards with me. If you guys want to take a card, you email me anytime you like. Get in touch with me. I'm open to answer any questions that you might have. And I wanted to thank Gloria for putting this together. It's so important that every little thing anyone can do to help anyone else is an amazing gesture. So thank you, Gloria.
Thank you.